Yes. What's happening, people? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode with the boys, with the Mandem. Finally, feels like it's been a while since we've done one of these actually, but you guys know how it is. Off season, summertime, everyone's busy, got things going on. But we're about at the time of recording just over 2 weeks away from the start of the Premier League, and yours truly, Arsenal Football Club, the Premier League champions, kick off the season on Friday night. Um, so listen, man, there's been a lot that happened since the last time the three of us got together. There's signings, there's departures, there's preseason games. So we're here to talk about it all. But here with me obviously is Murdad Laurent. Make sure you like and subscribe, people. Hype up the video, tell a friend to tell a friend, hit that bell as Murdad always says, all that good stuff. But yeah, my fellow co-hosts, what's going on? Y'all good?
We're live. We're live, you know. We got the signing over the line, so you should be in a happy mood.
Ah,
Um, I told you when I would be concerned, and we didn't get to that point.
well, y'all got
Um,
Vinicius?
we were first talking about a midfielder, my guy.
Oh, I didn't listen. I didn't. I'm not even included. Like, no context. You said signing. The biggest signing for you guys, I think, is that guy, right? So that's why I asked if y'all got Vinicius.
No, we didn't get Vinicius, but we also didn't lose to Spurs in preseason after spending almost 400 million.
Yo, I honestly don't know why you're coming with Chait because it was a legitimate question. Mind you, you guys said we got the signing. The biggest signing for you guys, the biggest talking point was Vinicius, right?
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
we got the signing. The last pod what we were talking about was Bruno Guimaraes, and that's when CJ was concerned.
We weren't talking about Vinicius the last pod.
We were talking about Vinicius, but we were talking about if it's a
Mm,
possibility.
mm. Okay, okay. Well, anyways, it could have been just a yes or no, and we could have kept it moving. But I know you like to do your one twos. You know what I mean? Step on a Chelsea flag here and there.
Listen, bro, you got to be
Uh,
quick with it. If you're gonna come for smoke, the smoke's coming right back.
oh, there was no coming for smoke, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Mm,
you plead the fifth on that one?
100%.
I like that. I like that. But no, we're listen, Bruno Guimaraes is an Arsenal player. Eddie Howe is no longer there, and that turd bag. What's that? What's his assistant manager? The turd bag. What's
Oh,
this? You know who I'm talking about?
Tinkle, something Tinkle? Tuchel? Not Tuchel.
Oh,
Something Tinkle. It's gonna bother
Tink.
me now. He's on
Uh,
the touchline more than Eddie Howe is.
yeah.
The assistant manager. We're gonna have to fact check this.
Black fuck. Well, what is it? What's his name?
So, assistant manager.
Jason Tyndall.
Jason, I knew, yeah, Tyndall. Yeah, I knew it.
Tyndall. That
Jason
that
Tyndall.
piece of poo is hopefully no longer there.
It's a good point,
But it
actually. I wonder if he's gone with the with Eddie as well.
probably, probably. But
That guy was well annoying, man.
yeah, it's troubling times for Newcastle. Sunderland is their rivalry is going to get real bad because they lost all their great players. Um, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but genuinely, like on the Bruno Guimaraes, looking at our midfield now, I know Laurent's probably going to make a stupid comment after I say this, but I genuinely believe we have the best midfield in the Premier League now.
No, I don't think that's outrageous at all. If you're talking about squad, like as midfield as a collective, yeah, like well, I don't think that's outrageous at all. When you're talking about Declan Rice and Bruno straight away, right? Obviously, two of the best midfielders in the Premier League. Full stop. You're talking about a Euros winner and now a World Cup winner in Zubimendi, who's our starting midfielder for most of last season. Um, a guy who's actually heavily linked with a move back to Spain. I saw apparently even Xabi Alonso and Chelsea were linked with him, just like soft links because Xabi Alonso really liked the player even when he was at Real Madrid. But yeah, Real Madrid has inquired back in for him. For me, I'll be curious to know if he's going to stay by the end of the window now because we heard rumblings even last season that he was kind of homesick. He does, for me, always seem like a player that's going to end up back in Spain at some point. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, he's here. So that's another, obviously, that squad depth. Mikel Merino, another Euro slash World Cup winner. We saw the impact that he's had for club and country over recent years. Maz Lewis Skelly, a player who's come into his own in recent times. Started a Champions League final, more than held his own in that one. He's another up and comer, young midfielder for us. And then obviously there's Odegaard, who's still the club captain, still there, as they still hanging about. So yeah, man, you're looking at some serious squad depth in midfield. I don't think that's out of pocket at all to say that we have the best midfield collective in the league at this moment in time.
And with Rodri potentially going to Barcelona, it does open the door for Real Madrid to come in for Zubimendi. So I,
Would you get rid of him after a year?
no, no. Because I think if we are able to keep him for one more year, I think it gives us a lot of rotation.
Yeah, I agree fully.
Because I don't want to see Declan Rice playing as many games as he played, and I would like to see Mikel. The same concerns that I had February of this year about Mikel is I do want to see more rotation, even if it means that we lose a couple more games here and there in Champions League or whatever. I do want to see us have a full and healthy squad when we're in, late April, May, when things are critical and vital. I don't want to keep running into the same issue that, oh, by the time the end of the season comes, we're struggling for squad depth and we're struggling to have players healthy. Like I don't want to run into that. Um,
Yep.
so no, I wouldn't sell him. Do I think that there is a possibility that he could be a sacrificial lamb now that we didn't get Vinicius? Yeah, I could see him being the one to go, right? Because I don't think Martinelli's going to go anymore. Um, I would love to see when Yeri go get a loan to the championship to kind of beef up and understand what it's like to play like football on a regular basis. Yes, you got the flair. Yes, you've dominated, under 18s, under 16s, but I need you to dominate against the championship, which these guys are not as tactical as the Premier League, but they're still good ballers. Um, and then, on the right wing, we got Noni and Saka, which I don't think anything's going to happen there. Um, who knows? I think the links are going to start heating up with Julian Alvarez. I think that's gonna be the target if we don't get. I mean, obviously we're not getting Vinicius, but I think that's gonna be the target.
Well, that's the hope, isn't it? I mean, before we get into the Vinny stuff, yeah, just quickly a word on obviously the Bruno signing in itself. So at this moment in time, at the time of recording, we are told that the medical is done, the contract is signed, so it's just a matter of the announcement now. Hopefully that comes out tomorrow. But yeah, 75 mil fixed fee, no add-ons, 75 mil all in. And when you think about it, good value for money signing. When you consider the midfield market at the moment, the level of player that he is. I'm sorry, out of all those the midfielders that have moved this summer for 100 mil plus, he's better than all those guys, the Tonali's, Elliot Andersons, right? Bruno Guimaraes is more proven. I think that's fair to say. He's aside from Rodri, I think Bruno Guimaraes is the best midfielder on the market that would have, swapped clubs this summer, right? Like
Hmm.
again, all those other guys who are worth north of 100 mil, insane, right? What have they really done? Elliot Anderson has one good season. That's what that money buys you now, right? It's potential. It just buys you potential. And Elliot Anderson, one good year. Even Rodgers to a certain extent, right? A good year or two, is he worth 117 mil? Tonali 100 mil. Like Fernandez at West Ham, he got relegated, and all of a sudden he's an 85 million pound midfielder. Like the value is crazy for these midfielders. So yeah, for me, Bruno Guimaraes, one of the best midfielders in the world, full stop. He's been one of the best in the Prem for a few years now. Carried a team who's finished 12th. Four assists, I think, in the World Cup for Brazil. One of the leading, I think he's the leading assister for Brazil in the World Cup. And yeah, man, he's somebody I haven't been this certain about a level raiser since Declan Rice, the signing of Declan Rice. Like with Bruno Guimaraes, you know exactly what you're going to get from him when he comes in. Because again, we're looking for ready now signings, and that's exactly what that is to me. Like I would have paid more. So bravo to Berta and Co for getting the job done. I would have paid more because he's that good of a player and he's that much of a level raiser, in my opinion. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. So yeah, if I would have paid even more. Then he's worth way more than that. But to get him 75 mil fixed fee, yeah, bravo to the guys. Bravo to the guys. It took long enough, but yeah, he's in the door now, and hopefully he gets enough of preseason to hit the ground running.
He's definitely he's definitely worth 100. Like if Tonali went for 100 and Mateus Fernandez went for 85, Bruno is definitely worth more, and he's a club captain. Like it's not like we're getting a random player. Like he is the club captain that we were able to pull away. Um, Laurent, I know you don't have any ties with the Arsenal, but what's your thoughts on the Bruno Guimaraes signing for Arsenal?
I think it's a good good piece addition to the squad. Um, and yeah, like you guys mentioned, right? That's a quality player all around. Um, I mean, I feel like yeah, he's proven right in the Premier League. I think in terms of his World Cup performances, right? I think you can kind of bypass that, right? Uh, in regards to what I feel he's going to add to the squad next season. But yeah, it's a new challenge for the player, and for me, right? Again, it's always you have to perform in your new home, right? So yes, right. He's done what he's done, right? He's a solid player all around, and like CJ mentioned, aside Rodri, probably one of the best signings from this window. And at this point, right, it's just how he adapts to this new challenge and this new system, right? And a new teammate. So yeah, I feel like with every player that's moving from one club to the next, truly you kind of want to see if they're able to put up those similar numbers, right, that they have at their previous club. And Arsenal is a bigger club than Newcastle, right? So there are bigger expectations for the player, right? But given what you've seen so far, and again, I don't want to put in the World Cup into the data, but he's a solid player. So
Hmm.
whether or not you're seeing best midfield in the Prem, I think my boy Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Palmer, and Co. Have a bit to say about that. But it's a solid, very very solid midfield. So
For for me now, from the highs of because we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the highs of the Bruno Guimaraes signing to the I'm not gonna say full on lows, but the disappointment maybe now of missing out on a certain Vini Jr., as you guys already alluded to. Now, some call me pessimistic, some call me negative. A certain Laurent said it last episode. When I was told to be more positive and optimistic on the potential signing. But like I said, I like to be honest and keep it real with the people on this podcast. And yeah, just I never thought it was happening. I told you guys I didn't think there was a realistic chance. The most likely outcome was always going to be that he was going to re-sign with Real Madrid. So I don't think I'm as let down as or down as some of the other Arsenal fans I'm hearing and seeing at the moment who are a bit saddened and hurt about this even. I just never felt like it was the most realistic outcome. It was always a pipe dream for him to come to the Arsenal, and it would have been fantastic for us. But yeah, man, he not many big players at that level, right, in their prime, just get to walk out of Real Madrid like that. Real Madrid's not going to let him go without a fight. We were the last time we got a player not of this level, but of this brand and stature, obviously, was the Mesut Ozil signing many moons ago. And that was because Mesut Ozil was a sacrificial lamb, right? They got Gareth Bale in, they had to get rid of somebody, and we
Mhm.
we we benefited off of that and got Ozil, right? It just seemed too good to be true that they're going to let a keep Ballon d'Or caliber player, one of the best left wingers in the world, just leave and walk out like that. You know what I mean? Unless again they were doing something similar where they have to bring somebody in to let somebody go, which we will get into because I think they've made a mistake there with the whole Rodri thing. Now, I think Rodri's slipping from their grasp now, might be going to Barca. That was
Oh
more the
yeah,
kind of player that they needed, but they decided to put that money towards Vinny. So they're still, in my opinion, going to have that issue of how do they make the Vinny Mbappe thing work and all the ego stuff, the Jose Mourinho thing. I still think there's going to be issues there, but yeah, that's what they
add
decided
Yan
to.
Monday as well. Don't forget that,
Mm.
and you got Rodrigo coming back as well.
Yeah, so I think there's still going to be some things to sort out for Real Madrid. They still needed a midfielder like a Roger to come in because that's still where they have issues. The hole in midfield that they have still. to be honest with you. So listen, hey, that's why they decided to put their money. I think we put pressure on them. And one thing I will say is I'm proud of us. You know, I don't think it was a PR stunt at all. I think we genuinely would have gone all in for this player. We tried our best to get Vinny. And it just didn't work out in the end. But that, hey man, if now we're in those conversations of trying to get these kind of players, like again, bravo to the club and Berta and co for trying to make this shit happen. Apparently, everybody was involved from the ownership to Arteta to Berta. It was approved at all levels to go all out to make this happen. And yeah, you can lose out to a Real Madrid, right? That's how it goes. But again, we were trying to put up a fight, and we were at the table for that conversation. So I have to big them up for it.
Who would you have wanted if you had to choose between Bruno or Vinny?
If I had to choose,
Mm,
and I can only get one,
yeah.
Vinny for me.
You, Merdan? I feel like your answer is gonna differ slightly.
No, Vinny.
Really? Mm.
Because
Why?
for me, it's as simple as what do we need more in the squad? We did what we did last season with the current midfield that we had, but I think we all knew the gaping holes in this Arsenal team still are the forward line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's
we've
where it
been
comes down
dying
to.
for an out and out left winger for like I don't even know who the last true left winger that we had that we were happy with.
Yeah,
Alexis Sanchez?
Alexis Sanchez, bro, crazy.
Like how many moons ago was that? And he came to us in his prime, right? Um,
How do you feel right now about this and about missing out on Vinny?
indifferent. Indifferent. I think it's the ambition that we showed. And I never thought in a million years I would see us go for
Hmm.
that type of personality and to know that Arteta was pushing this much for this type of personality and that the ownership was willing to make him the most expensive paid player and give him the biggest package ever in the Premier League, like good on you.
Hmm.
Do I think that this is going to turn around and come bite us in the ass? No, not really. I think Christos is always, I know we'll get into it. Like, I think in preseason, he's shown a lot of potential. I still do trust our squad, but I think now that I know this is the type of money that we have to play with, I would love to see us go in for Julian Alvarez and just make it happen. Right? Man City losing Rodri potentially, they're going to be light in the midfield. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have a tough season. Chelsea's unknown. And I'm not just saying it because you're here, Laurent, but Chelsea's unknown. Who knows what's going to happen with Enzo Fernandez? Who knows what type of Caicedo you're going to get? Who knows with all the signings? Liverpool is an aging squad that hasn't done anything. Spurs are Spurs. Um, so there's a Manchester United, whatever. Like I'm not overly concerned with them. Um, so there's a real possibility for us to repeat, and for us to do that, I do think that we're missing. Chris always is good. Like I think if we went into the season and we didn't get anyone else aside from him as a forward attacker, I'd be able to stomach it, but I wouldn't be happy. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be happy. I'd be able to stomach it and understand, but I want us to go out and get a proper left winger. Who that is, for me, it would be Alvarez. Um, but like I don't know. I don't know. He's set on Barcelona, but if Barcelona are going for Rodri, are they going to be able to afford Rodri and Alvarez? Right?
So sorry, just to want to make sure I get you correct here. So you would go for Alvarez and you would stick him on the left?
Even though he's not an out and out left winger, yes, yes. Or you because I think if we get Alvarez, like we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with Gyökeres, right? Because I think we're gonna be really heavy up front, unless he goes back to doing playing Kai Havertz in the midfield or changing the system fully.
Well, there were rumors, and I don't know how true this
Of
is. There were
letting him go,
rumors that
right?
he would go the other way. Yeah, he would go the other
Yeah,
way and one in, one out kind of thing.
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah. If that's what's happening, then sure, I would stick. Alvarez on the left, or stick him up top, and then play Solis or Martinelli. And then if you got a Bruno Guimaraes, you could get away with playing Eze in the left as well, because then the rotation, the same rotation that Guimaraes had with Anthony Gordon, you could see that rotation with Eze, right? Um, I still want another player. I think for the back line perspective, yeah, I do think that we're a little light right now.
Hmm.
I think getting a right back is easier than getting a center back because it's easier to convince a right back to come in rather than a center back because you know that once Saliba's healthy, you're not seeing a lick of the field. Whereas if you get a younger or, you know, 20, 22-year-old right back, it's easier because you know that Ben White's aging. And who knows what's going to happen in the January window, and they could potentially sell Ben White. Um, so for me, getting a right back would be a little bit easier, and then put Jurian Timber next to Gabriel because he'd be the best player to put in there. And then you could have the rotation of Mascara, Ben White, and then whoever else that we bring in on the right.
Hmm. I actually do want to talk to that to speak to that point actually about what we do next in terms of our defense even and kind of challenge you on that a little bit more. But before that, like just quickly, Laurent, like what are your thoughts on the whole thing with Vinny, or what were you thinking, especially from the op side of things, right? This last 2 weeks, how you been? What are your thoughts been about the Vinny thing, and generally, like Arsenal missing out on him, Arsenal even being linked with him? Like, what was it from your perspective like?
Honestly, man, if I'm being completely honest, there's not too much concern or worry on my end. It's one of those, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Uh, right? I didn't mention that I'd be excited to have a player like that in this league. So even just from that standpoint, right? And from a competitive standpoint, right? Yeah, I was ready for all outcomes. Um, and I do feel like from Arsenal perspective, obviously, right? Uh, it forces you guys to pivot because I do not think that position can be vacant or can remain with the personnel that you guys currently have.
I agree.
And I mean, I know Merdad mentioned Solis showing promise. Um, Again, right? It's still preseason.
Yeah,
I don't know how much of personally, I don't know how much weight you guys put into the preseason and how it correlates or towards performances in the regular season, right? But yeah, in my opinion, 100%, it would have been better for you guys to have snatched him. And now you're put in the situation where I don't know who the alternatives are, right? Barcola out of the picture, it seems, because he's already agreed to Liverpool, I think it is, right? Um, who else is there really?
That's the next question, really. That's kind of where I'm at, and wanted to ask you guys, like,
Mm,
where do we go from here? I know you offered up your main thing would be Alvarez, you remember that, and put him on the left. But realistically, yeah, if you don't do that, like what are our actual options? And remember, I said this to you guys a pod or two ago where I'm like, we got to be careful with putting our eggs in the Vinny basket. And I'm glad it's kind of finally decided and ends this week because 2 weeks left until the start of the season, 3 weeks or so left until the end of the transfer window. You don't give yourself much time to, especially certainly to get a player of that caliber, right? To try and get a big player because big players with big reputations, world-class players, right? Those transfers usually take more time. So do
hmm
we have enough time to pivot to something like that? Or are we going to have to maybe some people are even mentioning get Alvarez and stick him up top, put Eze on the left wing or find another alternative left wing solution. Some people are saying, okay, I'm content with getting a Julian Alvarez and just putting him up top, even if it means you have to stick with the current left wing solution, the left wing options at the moment. Because I think the common consensus generally is that Arsenal Football Club needs to improve their forward line somewhere. Like
yes,
get a world-class forward in generally, whether it's on the left, like a Vinny, and you stick with your two current strikers, or you get a new striker, like Julian Alvarez, and stick with your two current left wingers, right? Like it didn't never seem like we were going to get both. It's going to be one. It's going to be one world-class top left winger, or it's going to be one world-class top striker. So
How likely is that you Alvarez signing?
it's another one of those where he wants to leave, but his again
Yeah.
his main focus is Barca. So it's kind of like the Vinny situation in that we're not the first choice, but he would come if the opportunity presents itself.
And
Yeah.
would you guys be willing to break your back for it? Almost like, well, not to the extent that you guys are willing for Vinny, but you know, um, allow some terms, some concessions here and there.
He's not worth the big Vinny package to
No,
me.
no, no, no. Not that much.
No, he's
No.
not. But the problem is, I don't know what you think, Reda, but I think he actually would command near enough the same sort of figures and fee, or at least Atletico would charge us, I think, the same sort of fees. Maybe obviously the wages won't be as big, but I think, to get him out of there, you're probably gonna have to spend like 120 maybe, I think. I think is what Atletico Madrid would tax us on a minimum. On a minimum is 120, to be honest with you. I think either way we're breaking our current our transfer record, which is 105 for Rice. So,
Yeah. Unless we're doing a swap. Unless
and you
we're
know what
doing
the
a
problem is? Yes,
swap.
that is true. But you know what else the problem is? The other clubs now know that Arsenal have bread because we were willing to spend that much on Vinny.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
But for
Wait, a
me, that's not a
swap?
problem. Like if we know we have the money, then go in and get the player that you want.
Even if it's going
For
to cost you
Vinny,
stupid money.
sure, but like that we knew all along if Real Madrid actually came back with an offer that got anywhere close to the money or the rights that Vinny wanted because he wanted like the
Image rights.
imaging rights, he was gonna stay. He always wanted Madrid. But the fact that he knew that there was another option and they were able to meet a little bit more, it opened the door for him to have those tough conversations. So I don't think we lost on Vinny. I think the fact that we were able to even pull was a good thing. But Andre Roberto needs to now understand, and the Arsenal hierarchy need to understand that the prices are going to go up a little bit by 10 to 20 mil because they know that we have the money, right? We're pretty stingy in the stock market. We're pretty stingy in the transfer window. Um, but I think now at this point, it's like, okay, Barcola's gone, sure.
Rogers
If
gone.
Yeah, Rogers, I'm not worried about Rogers. But sure, Rogers has gone at
Because I
116.
think he would have been not saying I would have paid that much, but I think the club would have been thinking that was another left wing solution, right? Like put him on the
Correct.
left wing.
Yeah. But he's not an he's I think Alvarez is more of a left winger than a Rogers for me. I think Rogers is more of like an Eze um type rather than an Alvarez because an Alvarez is an actual forward. You know what I mean? Rogers doesn't strike me as a forward. He strikes me as like an attacking midfielder. Um, so if it means that Alvarez is going to command 120 plus or 125 plus, sure, pay it. Sure. Because if you get an Alvarez, you're increasing the odds of you winning the Premier League again and all that money to come in again. So you're able to balance the books like that. And you're almost guaranteeing that you're going to be able to go far in the Champions League. At least I think semifinals is a must. It's a bare minimum for us next season, right? So yeah,
I would agree actually. Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't mind spend it. Who cares? Like I'm not going to go in for Rafa Leao.
No,
I don't think we're going to be able to get Cavaskelia out of PSG
no.
unless something crazy happens. Doué's not leaving. Luis Diaz isn't leaving. Who else? What other teams? There's no one really in the Serie A that I can think of as a left winger that I'm like, okay, I'd want. Um, oh, what's that? The Turkish kid,
Yildiz.
Yildiz on Juve.
Yeah. Which apparently the Juve is saying at all costs they're not selling.
Yeah, but Italian teams need money.
But I was gonna
You
say
go,
that guy is like, I swear there's a bit of an overhyped term, no?
I feel like there is too as well, personally.
he's 21, still young, right? But yeah, there sure there's a maybe the Italian league made him look better than he actually is, but that's a left wing option that I wouldn't mind. Um, Nico Williams,
Really, eh? So you like him?
he's an out and out left winger. I'm just throwing out names that are out and out left wingers at this point, right? My first option obviously would be uh,
Mikhailo Mudryk.
who?
Our boy, our boy Mikhailo, back from the ban.
Um, yeah, I don't. There really isn't many like true out and out left wingers. Trying to like just look
Winger
at.
market isn't great, man. I've been saying the winger
No.
market isn't great. When you see Man City, and again, I don't know how true this is or not. It's out there, but when you see Man City linked with Pedro Neto, it's like really, like this is what we're doing in the winger market nowadays. Like y'all couldn't find anyone better. Um, yeah, man, it's an interesting time. It's quite sad for the wingers out there. Again, we talked about it before. The wingers of previous generations all playing at one time. Your Neymars, your Sadio Manes, Eden Hazard, Alexis Sanchez. Like it's not we don't see too much of those nowadays. I would argue that the cream of the crop left wingers now is like Vini Jr. That's it. Maybe Diaz as well, Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
could
man,
go in for oh my God, I just saw his name, Ferran Torres. He'd be
not
a
for me.
cheap
Not for
option.
me. Not for me.
He wouldn't be a wow factor, but he's a cheap option.
Yeah. Aside from our forward line, because you did touch on it, and honestly, since I've been kind of watching the two preseason games, I've been kind of thinking about this as well. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I am leaning on the fact that yeah, we're probably going to need another defender.
Hmm.
Certainly on the right side, because yeah, I mean, obviously we don't know when Saliba's back yet, but again, we can't really afford to wait till he comes back because we are trying to do big things again, and we are trying to repeat, right, the Prem, and there's only so many points you can drop waiting and relying on Saliba to get back fit, right? Like we can't afford a super shitty start, a slow start to the season.
No.
And I know
Bro,
you
I swear
mentioned
that's what you guys been saying
saying
What?
what?
earlier when you guys mentioned that Rice and Saliba would be out for how many months? So they'd be back in January of the new year, February. And you guys were like, yeah, we're not concerned too much. You
What?
guys still felt that you can pull away with the results.
Yeah, no, not me, not this Arsenal fan. I don't know who else you were talking to, but
It was definitely on this pod. I'll say that. I remember having this roadblock, and I made the point that it's even your starting games. It's a tough, right? And you can't afford to have slow starts, especially in this league, right? But yeah, I mean, even if you're saying another defender who, because
well, so the yeah,
Nkapie, sorry, not Nkapie, Mascara, right?
mhm,
Yeah.
That the guy that was that's filling in for
mhm.
I mean, wouldn't you say that even given last season, he's put up quite good performances, right? And he's filled in well. He's played his role well, right? And he's a reliable guy, no?
Yeah, but reliable for a team chasing the top four, five, six places, or again for a team that's trying to repeat a Premier League. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, right? Saliba and Gabriel were the backbone of our Premier
Mm.
League title win last season. So without Saliba, for example, in half of the season last season, I don't think we win the Prem. You know what I mean? Like so. Again, we don't know how long he's going to be out for, Saliba, but 2, 3 months, how many points could you drop in that period of time if he's out for that long? You know what I mean? Um, so I'm kind of with you, Murdad, in the sense that like I am and I'm not. Here's my thing is I kind of would get a right back. Like if we are going to get a defender on the right side, I'd get a right back because long term we probably need a new right back anyways, long term.
Hmm.
Whereas like you said, if you go buy a center back now, it's just a band-aid solution because Saliba is coming back at some point and then back to the bench for that defender, right? So I kind of agree with you. You could get a out and out right back and keep that because that could still be a long-term investment and a Timber or a Ben White can shift in to play center back. That's definitely a solution. But my concern with that too is that how reliable are Ben White and Timber at the moment? We're cursed, I think, at right back or the right side of defense at the moment because
Yeah.
those guys are not fit. I'm concerned about what's going on with Timber at the moment. And Ben White, he seems like a ticking time bomb now before he picks up an injury again. So do they have the durability to be able to play that many games and start center back in the Premier League, Champions League? Like I'm just overall concerned about that right-sided defense situation at the moment.
I think it's less bombing down the flank that's going to be a little bit easier on their body, and you still have Christian Mascara there as well, right? Like if we get a if we purchase a right winger, a right back, for example, and we go into the season with Timber as a starting right center back, and Mascara and Ben White rotate right back, and then you bring that third kid in for games here and there. If God forbid Timber goes out for like 2 or 3 games or 5 games, Mascara can step in, or Ben White can step in, right? And you're not having them bomb down the flank. I don't think Ben White can sustain consecutive games playing right back anymore. I think it's too much running for him, especially against more tactical teams. I don't think he can sustain it. Against the lower teams, I think he may be able to, but against the more tactical teams, like the top six sides, I don't think he can do it anymore consecutively. I do hear you with the health situation. I think the best solution at the time would have been John Stones because John Stones can come in and he could when you're playing an EFL game in Grimsby Town, he could be playing next to a Calafiori, or he could be playing in the midfield instead of a Declan Rice and Zubamendi. You know what I mean? Like he would have been the perfect option because he gives us that gives us that versatility, and he's a utility knife, right? You can kind of put him in different places. We couldn't get that over the line. Okay, sure. So now you need to think about, okay, what's the next best option? Um, because on one side, yes, we do have a lot of defenders. We're still forgetting that we still have Lewis Skelly. So in a pinch, we realistically could put Gabriel and Calafiori, Gabriel and Hincapié, and then put Lewis Skelly or the other one in the left wing, left back, and then put Timber or White or Mascara on the right back, right? Like we do have flexibility in that sense. Um, so I'm not panicking, but if I'm on Jared Berta, I would rather purchase a long-term investment in a right back than a center back because I think Christian Mascara can be that long-term investment for us, and he's proven it. Now, do I think that he's to the capability of Saliba? No, but I think he's shown glimpses that we can be confident with him back there, right? Like if we go into the season and we're starting Calafiori, Gabriel, Mascara, and Timber, I'm still pretty confident that we're going to win games. Would I want to do that the entire season against a Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich? No, obviously not. But until Saliba comes back, I wouldn't be like panicking if that's what happened. But if you're asking me what it is that I want a left winger to come in, and I would like a right back to come in, just for long-term investment, because I think Ben White's days are numbered. Whether he's leaving this transfer window, the January transfer window, Ben White is leaving.
Hmm.
So that's my honest opinion.
Interesting. Let's see, man. Like I said, about three weeks or so at this point left in the window, 3 and a bit weeks. And then again, we kick off in about 2 weeks. So I still think as well that there's work to be done. I just hope that we're prepared, man, because it's going to be another hectic, long season. And again, we're ambitious and trying to go for what we're trying to go for again. So, we need to make sure the squad is set. That's it. Make sure the squad is set. Um, around the I guess the world of football at the moment or club football with preseason games coming back and whatnot, transfer window, out and about. I think things are really starting to heat up now. We're really hearing a lot of rumors. Obviously, we touched on Rodri, which is another big one in the news at the moment. Rodri potentially going to Barca. But big moves on your guys' end. Like, what are you guys seeing? What are you guys hearing? What are you guys thinking? And Laurent, just quickly starting with you, what's going on at Chelsea at the moment? Any other big news coming in, going out?
Tyler Lujic. That's as big as it gets, bro. You tell me. 2 years, doping ban.
Does he still remember how to play football after the
Of
2 years?
course. Of course. He even played in the friendly versus Juve. Came on for about a good 12-ish minutes. Looks stellar, man. Looks stellar, quick, rapid. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Now whether or not he gets loaned out for a bit, right, to get his legs back under him, we're yet to see. But yeah, other than that, I think with Chelsea, who came in last, Lacroix, Palestra is looking good. I like the kid. He definitely brings something different than Gusto. He's more poised on the ball. The pace isn't as rapid. Um, and I believe that we are aiming for another left back. Now, this guy, hold on. And I think it's,
They're left back.
yeah, from a Spanish club. What's this guy's
I
name?
think Javi Alonso doesn't put the same stocks in Hato as you do.
Pep Pep Chavaria.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. I saw that link.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Um, which yeah, I mean, I think it's good. You want to have in that position two players, right? I do think Hato would be the main man. But yeah, it's all about having a certain depth and certain versatility, right? But yeah, other than that, I think beyond that, there's probably one more move for a midfielder. I don't know who, but that's pretty much that, right? And now the question of whether even Mike Penders, that guy, coming in and being second fiddle, because it seems like Sanchez may be the main man again. Um, so yeah.
Honest question. Do you think Enzo Fernandez is staying?
I was just
Honest.
about to ask that one.
Oh, sorry.
No, say it. No,
Sorry.
that's funny you asked that. I literally was thinking the exact same thing. That was my next question. What do we think Enzo's app is doing? Is he going, staying?
Like be genuine. Don't like. Do you actually think he's staying?
I mean, let's say even if he wants to go, where does he go?
So
Madrid?
yeah, you know what? The merry-go-round thing that I was hearing at the moment is like if uh Rodri goes to Barca, then City might be looking at Enzo. That's what I was hearing.
Mm,
For
For
me, it
that?
seems like Enzo wants to go from the outside looking in.
yeah, but the thing is, okay, because I know when the talks of him departing was due to the World Cup, and obviously, right, the supposed hate that he has received in light of that. So to me, if you're gonna go, right, you're gonna leave England in full.
Mm,
You're not gonna look to, you know what I'm saying, to get eggs thrown on one side of the street to just go to the next side of the street
hmm
where they're still throwing eggs, right? Um, but I do feel with what's the name, Maresca, if anything, he's the author. He'd be the author of the one wanting those moves, right? So two pieces, Neto and Enzo, right? Two players that he is comfortable with, right? That do know how to play his system. Now, whether or not he goes, for me, I still think there's a bigger chance than not that he does stay. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. I think I mean it's gonna be hard, right? Because on one end, there is no European football, which for a player of that stature, I think that's a big selling point, right? So if he does depart from me, I think it'd be due to that more than anything. Um, yeah, I'd say 50-50. 50-50 for me.
mm.
I think he's gone, especially with what he pulled off in the World Cup. I think he's gone, and I don't think he stays in England.
Yeah,
Just my just my honest opinion.
but I mean,
Maybe you're
outside of
wrong.
England, right? I don't know if the Real Madrid move is something that's going to happen. And I do remember Real Madrid saying that they're not even entertaining it. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing. Those conversations have quieted down for a while now. And then if you look outside of that, well, yeah, where else does he go that can afford, I think, the kind of money that he's going to command, like the transfer fee and all that. If Barca's already going in for a Rodri, if Real Madrid is closing the door on the player, PSG's got their midfielders. I mean, we've got ours, right? City, and we're all kind of saying as well that he's not going to stay in England if he does move. So where does he go? That's the thing. Where would he go? I'm not sure.
yeah, man. If you listen, if you don't want to stay, leave. Better than to have a player out than to have someone who is half in, half out. So
Hmm.
Do you want him to? Like, what do you feel in terms of what you would want personally? You want him to stay? Do you care if he goes? Like, how do you feel about that?
if he's willing to commit, then by all means stay. But if it's one of those where you're not willing to give 110, then yeah, you can leave, man.
So where do you think of Chelsea is at right now? Again, we'll do our check-in points, right? We'll do a check-in point again at the end of the transfer window. But if we're assessing like let's say all the big six clubs right now, like starting with Chelsea, where do we see like Chelsea at right now? How does their squad look like, right? Starting 11, and where do you see them finishing if everything stands as is right now? Because the way you're kind of making it sound right now is okay, maybe you guys will get one more midfielder. You may be looking at this left back, and then your business is kind of done, right? Is that enough? Like, where do you guys finish with the squad that you guys currently have?
Um, I mean, okay, I will say this. A lot of the sentiments that are being expressed online, um, especially with the new signings and the way we have been playing, right, are obviously given the preseason games, which I personally don't think is a good barometer to assess how things are going to look. The one thing that a lot of people have even glazed over is the fact that up to this point, Alonso has not even deployed uh, a tactical system of five in the back. Up
Oh,
to this
really?
point, yeah, it's been 4-2-3-1 that we've been utilizing. So there's also that, right? Is he saving that for the actual league, or will he start to deploy that as we get closer, right? Because I think we have two more preseason games. Um, and I think now a lot of the players too from the World Cup, because I don't know if you guys heard, but they were giving a mandatory 1 month break from the time the World Cup ended. So some players actually cannot, right? They're still on vacation, right? So we
Hmm.
do not have our our whole squad. But thus far, I do think we have the talent in a lot of these positions. If I'm being honest with you, right? Um, Up top, he even tried a combination with Danny Welbeck, João Pedro, in
Completely
the
forgot
10.
you guys signed him. Oh
Huh?
yeah, I completely forgot you guys signed Welbeck. That's crazy. Yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was even Jackson, um, who
Who?
Nicholas Jackson. Yeah, yeah. He's actually doing Nicholas Jackson things.
I saw the scrap right with Bremer.
No, no,
Is
I
that
was
what you
gonna
were
say where
referring to?
he had like a loose touch in the box,
Oh,
where if he actually controlled it well, we could have opened opened our bank account from there. But yeah, just typical Nicholas Jackson. But I will say that his in terms of his ability to carry the ball forward, that is something that he's very good at. And if you guys recall the partnership with Cole Palmer, right? Before the Bayern Munich move. So there's a lot of pieces right now that we do have, and I think for the manager, the key question is which pieces do we keep and which do we let go? You see what I'm saying? So, um, in terms of okay, do we have the pieces required? I say yes. So now
Pieces
it's just
required for what?
to I'd say even like a top four. I think that's I remember you guys asked me earlier, right, where I see Chelsea finishing. Um if we can get the keeper right, in my opinion, I think a keeper is going to be a key piece. The defenders, I do believe we are looking good in the back. Um so the keeper is the big question at this point for me. Um I did see Mike Penders in the Juve game, and it's quite different. I'm not gonna lie to you. From when Sanchez has the ball to when Mike Penders is has the ball. You notice with Sanchez, the moment the ball came to his feet, he was looking to fly the ball out, right? He wasn't trying to overdo it. Whereas Mike Penders, he was looking very calm, right? And his distribution was pretty spot on. Now, in terms of his shot stopping ability, I'm not too familiar with that. Whereas with a Sanchez, right, there is a certain um, level of proof that we have, right, in terms of him being able to stop shots, right? Um, so there's that part of the equation, right? Because I do feel that with Xabi Alonso, right, we are going to look to build up as I have noticed in the last two preseason games. So yeah, for me, I think that's the missing piece for us to then be able to get into the top six. But in terms of the attack, right, Esteval, like I said, even Giddens is looking good. Rogers, right, those are guys that have not seen the pitch yet, mind you. And to me, also, Nicholas Jackson is a wild card to me because if we can get that guy to perform, I think he's very deadly. If I'm being completely honest, right? He's a good player, right? And it's not like last season, right? Who's off the bench? The lap. You see what I'm saying? It's not like that with a Jackson, right? Yeah, no, I'm confident in the pieces we have. And again, it's just a matter of okay, being strategic in who we let go and what we keep. So probably one or two more, and keeper being a big part. And I think we're good to go.
And so give me your center backs at the moment. Who are your center backs right now? So you guys have Colwell. Colwell's back.
Yeah, so we have Colwill. Um, I think a Pong is probably
Mhm.
going to be loaned out or bench. And then Fofana, Lacroix.
Lacroix, yes. Oh yes, I forgot about that's the big
Yeah,
signing. Chalobah's gone now, right?
yeah. Well, there's talks for Como,
Como, yeah.
I believe.
Hmm.
And who else do we have? Did I say Fofana?
Yeah. Lacroix, that's the one I was missing. Okay. That was a big center back signing for you guys this summer. Okay.
Yeah.
Lacroix.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, again, Tosin. That's uh, that's one guy that I think a lot of Chelsea fans are not looking to have see the pitch for the upcoming season.
Thaddeus Shield as well still there, right? You guys still have a lot to get rid of too, to be fair.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, but Batty Shield, and I think even the Zazi,
Hmm.
those guys, I know I haven't seen them in the preseason on the preseason tour. Um,
Well, the thing is, the problem is they're still in the squad, right? They're still in the roster, and you guys don't have Europe this season, so you play one game a week. With a if you had inflated squad, what are you going to do with all those players? Some of those guys are going to have to go.
mm, yeah, no, but pretty sure, right, that obviously management, right, and the managers and co are going to look to definitely have a lot of outs, right, to make up for. Um,
Four strikers as well. You guys have at the moment too, if we're including João Pedro, Danny Welbeck, Delap, and Jackson. Like something's got to give there too.
I think, yeah, but okay, so with João Pedro, yeah, but see, that's the thing, because even João Pedro, right, you could put him in a 10 role, but then you have the likes of Palmer, right? So it's going to be interesting because for now, I don't think no one really knows, right, how what the setup is going to be. with this new manager, right? So there's a lot of unknowns. If we're being genuine here, there's a lot of unknowns, and yeah, we have yet to see. I'm hoping that with the next two preseason games, that it becomes apparent as to how we start setting up, so that these unknowns can be answered, right? And also hoping that the likes of these other players, like the Rodgers and all that, right, that they do get to see the pitch, right, so that we can kind of see uh, what the lineup is going to be like. So yeah.
How is it that Chelsea have spent almost like $2 billion and they're still unknowns with their squad? Like, please elaborate.
What that we spend that much money and that
And there's still unknowns about the squad and what's gonna happen and where players are gonna play and yada yada yada. How is this possible?
well, when you have a new manager, right? New manager, new tactics. If you have new tactics, some players that fit in the previous system may not fit perfectly in this new system,
But
right?
come
So
on now, when you spend $2 billion pretty much, and you're handing out, you're handing out 8-year contracts like they're candy at Frankie Tomatoes. Like
I've personally never been to Frankie Tomatoes, so
like the Mandarin. Like, come on now.
yeah, but again, right? I think that's what happens when you have regime changes. Um, and I'm pretty sure, right? The same talks would be at most clubs if you had managers coming in and out, uh, right? Different
I
things would
agree, but I think Chelsea outside of maybe a Man City are the only team that can spend this amount of money, right? Like there's been a lot of regime changes, but you guys have consistently spent the most amount of money over the past 5, 6 years, and we're still talking about, who's going to play where, what's going to happen, what players are going to stay, who's going to be coming in, going out. Like your squad is still 50 plus men. Like I don't know. It's just outrageous to me that after spending so much money, there's still unknowns about where players are going to play and what your best like starting lineup is, no matter the system.
well, again, I think if we're for being realistic here, that on one end, new manager, players have to prove themselves again, right? We can all agree with that.
Hmm.
Okay. So you name any club, unless you're dealing with maybe a Real Madrid where the disparity between players is that of world class and non-world class, you can kind of gauge who's starting and who's not. You see what I'm saying? But any other club, it's the same principles, right? There's a new manager that comes in, and I can say, okay, yeah, Esteva on the left, sorry, on the right, Ja Pedro in the nine. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Rogers on the left, right? Just because off the top of your head, that's who, okay, who's most likely to be in there, right? So, but I'm not the manager. I'm not there every day assessing these players, right? So, yes, there has to be unknowns, right? I think even in the case of Real Madrid, at some point, it was unknown whether or not Mbappe is going to be the nine or he's going to be the left winger. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, no, I think in this case, in this particular case, right, there is an asterisk for sure. Um, and that yes, given the depth of the squad, the number of players, right, there is some fat trimming that needs to happen. No Ozempic, but until we see how
Hashtag not a sponsor.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, we gotta we gotta mention that. Shout out to my attorney, Murdad. But yeah, no, I think once a lot of those players start to go, and I'm saying by the next game or the second game, assuming that a lot of those guys, the Rogers, even the Enzo, they do come back, they do play, we can kind of start to see how that starting lineup is going to look like. And the other thing too is, like I said, we know Xabi Alonso for the five in the back formation, correct?
Mhm.
And I've mentioned to you guys that thus far he has not utilized that system. You see what I'm saying? The moment he switches to that system, that lineup can shift from right because obviously you're using different personnel. So there's also that to play into consideration, right? Because we don't know at this point if he's going with four or five. So yeah, that's a big part to it as well.
CJ, thoughts? See you smirking there.
Yeah, man, because it's just you're right. You're right. It's interesting to hear LeBron and Chelsea, like a club of this size and the money spent, still talk about unknowns at this stage because like that's what it's kind of been with Chelsea for the last few years, right? The unknowns, the turnover, the changing of regime, the changing of the guard. Um, and this is what happens in high level sports, right? When king doesn't stay at the top forever, there's turnover, right? Sometimes your club's in the mud, sometimes your club's at the top. That's just how it goes. And again in all sports, right? So I think now, from my perspective, this is what I wanted to bring around to ask you, Merdad. But before you do, I want to give my quick opinion on it. Like in terms of where we see next season and the big clubs around us, right? Like I think we can all agree, lovers of Arsenal Football Club, haters of Arsenal Football Club, right now, all right, Arsenal's in a position where we're at the top, certainly in the Prem. We're at the top and we're in a position where we're looking down on our other rivals. Where once upon a time we were looking up at a Man City and Liverpool trying to get into at that sit at that table. You know what I mean? We used to watch those games, those title race matches, and say, boy, what we would do to be in those matches for deciding a title. And you're looking at world-class players on Liverpool, like, Mane and Salah and Firmino and Van Dijk. And on City side, it was, they're going toe to toe against Aguero and Mahrez and De Bruyne and these guys, and you have Pep and Klopp at the helm going head to head. You know what I mean? We used to be like, damn, like when is that going to be us? You know what I mean? Back when we were finishing eighth and fifth, and now here we are, right? Here we are, cream of the crop. We're at the top, and now the clubs around us, right? The clubs that we once upon a time, they used to batter us and banter us, right? Including the likes of Chelsea, right? Now they're inferior. Let's call it for what it is. Let's call it certainly on the pitch right now, right? These clubs we're looking down on. It's crazy to say. I mean, this may go back to normality in most people's senses. If you've been watching the Premier League long enough, most people would say normality has resumed now in terms of Arsenal, you know, constantly finishing above Chelsea and beating Chelsea. When's the last time Chelsea's beat us in the Prem, et cetera, et cetera. So some would say if you're an avid Premier League watcher for years and years now, normality has resumed in that sense. But yeah, we're back on the top, right? And these things come back around and shift gears quickly. So listen, whilst we're at the top, we need to stay there, right? I think that's the consensus now from an Arsenal perspective. We need to find
Oh
a way
yeah.
to stay there. We don't want this to be a one and done. In fact, we want to go one step further, right? So what do we got to do to maintain our status at the top? And even Laurent, to be fair to you, you've always said this. Like, you did say prior to last season, even you were saying, Arsenal's got to win it soon while we're kind of knocking at the door and creeping up because other clubs are going to come back around. Fair enough, you did say that. Okay, now we've gotten over the line. We're here. We're at the top. So what do we got to do to stay there, right? And when we're predicting now what it's going to look like going into the new season, look at the other big six clubs around us, right? Chelsea with their unknowns, right? At the moment, we don't know what's going to happen with them. Could finish fourth, could finish higher, could finish 10th. You know what I mean? Like, these are the unknowns again. Now, I don't think they will finish 10th. I think they'll be in the mix for Champions League spots, but we just don't know with Chelsea. Um, Spurs, I also think Spurs, they have a bunch of unknowns as well. New manager, new players, better players. But again, systems, right? Adaptation period, all that stuff. Where Spurs going to finish? I think they're another heavy unknown. I think they'll finish in the top 10, definitely above the relegation zone this time around. Um, but they're an unknown, right? Certainly we don't see them challenging for the title. United, I think they'll be a good side, but their transfer window so far hasn't super impressed me to say, yep, now they're going to challenge for the title. They got Tielemans in midfield, shrewd business, but that's a top four kind of signing, right? Whereas we did a Bruno Guimaraes type signing, which for me is a difference. That's a championship level signing, respectfully. Um, you know what I mean? So United will be a good squad, I think. They could surprise us as well, but you don't expect them to be winning leagues and Champions Leagues at this moment in time. They just got
Mhm.
back into Europe. Um, Liverpool, again, they have players who have still been there, done it, your Van Dijks and Allisons and so on. But again, new manager. They did buy world-class players last summer who are still here. Your Isaacs and whatnot, Verts. What kind of season are they going to have now? Second season in the league. Have they settled in? Will they be back to compete for the title? So you do look at Liverpool and say they're better placed than some of the other clubs that we just mentioned, but they also have a new manager. And then the last one for me is City, right? City, notoriously been there thereabouts for titles in the last few years. But the elephant in the room now for them is that they've lost a certain Pep Guardiola, who everybody has said, despite the players that they've had, Pep Guardiola is the reason they've been able to go again every year, year after year after year.
Mhm.
Um, Losing a Pep, I don't think people are talking about this enough, but losing a Pep is massive for this league and for Man City, I think, you know. Um, so
And then
you
add
get
in
Maresca.
losing Rodri.
Well, that's literally the icing on top of what I was gonna say. If City lose a Rodri, I think it would almost there's pretty much no depending on what happens left in the window. And again, we'll do our check-in points at the end of this transfer window again and see where everybody's at after the window closes. But as of here right now, if City lose a Rodri, right, I think there's absolutely no excuse for us to repeat the Premier League. Like no, like zero excuse. But right now, I see City. So after saying all that, when I'm assessing the clubs, and again, I want to know your take on all the big six clubs and where you think they stand. After having just assessed all those the big six clubs, I think City are still our closest challengers at this moment in time, despite losing a Pep. But if they lose Rodri, right, I think that changes drastically for them. To lose a Pep and a Rodri in the same window. And then let's not forget, they lost other experienced figureheads and winners in that dressing room too. Bernardo Silva, John Stones. Like we're talking about experienced guys there, right? If you lose Pep and Rodri, the spine and the heartbeat of your team over the last few years, that's massive. And I think that brings them down a peg or two, and even allows some of the others below them to catch up a bit, like Man U and Liverpool to their level, right? So, yeah, if they lose Rodri, I don't see a clear second challenger to us, in my opinion, and therefore I fully expect us to go again and to win the Prem. Maybe I'm putting too much pressure on the club, or that's a hot take and I'm being unrealistic because repeating in any sport is hard to do. But surely you got to go and win that Premier League because it doesn't matter who City will bring in at this point, right? None of these players will be better than Rodri. I don't care. We already took Bruno Guimaraes, for example. Like, he's at Arsenal now. So who else are you going to get that's almost as good as Rodri? Nobody. That's a Ballon d'Or winner.
Nobody.
So
There's
regardless, if
nobody.
they lose him, which looks likely at this moment in time, they're going to be weaker. For me, there would be no excuse for us to go again. There's no unknowns with us. There's stability. There's players who are entering their primes and long-term contracts, right? The stability of the manager. Like there is no unknowns with Arsenal Football Club. It's just a matter of us elevating and moving forward. And we've already made a big step in signing a Bruno Guimaraes to raise the level. So that's my take on it all. I think we're primed to go again. Even with or without Rodri, to be fair, at City. I think we're primed to go again. Um, and I think we should be repeating, to be honest with you. Like we have to take advantage of this position that we're in, and you got to build from a position of strength, right? Not rest on your laurels and say, yeah, we won. We can be, complacent.
I don't think there's anything that you said that I don't agree with.
Like for you, who are you when you assess the other big six clubs, like who do you see as the nearest challengers? And if you're thinking of anybody that can, snatch our chain, so to speak, like who's coming?
Chelsea.
You being serious?
Yeah. Yeah. Playing
Oh.
once a week. Yeah.
So you think Chelsea are going to be title challengers next year?
Yeah.
Really?
hmm I don't think City can with losing, they don't lose Rodri, the fact that he's going to be out for an extended period with his surgery, and the fact that they're still playing every 3 days, and with the players and the manager that they've lost and the experience that they've lost, because a lot of the games last year, like that Liverpool game at Anfield, the only reason why they won that was because of Bernardo Silva. The reason why they beat us was because of Bernardo Silva.
Hmm.
The reason why they were able to do those things is because of Bernardo Silva. They lost him. They lost John Stones. They lost Pep. Manchester United, the last time they played every 3 days, they were like down and out.
Wow.
Spurs, I'm not going to even entertain at all. I think they're just fighting for some European places. Liverpool's an unknown. Yes, they have world class players, but it's an aging squad. Like their spine is aging, and they're quite injury prone now. Um, I don't think they'll be title contenders. I think they'll lose games that we don't think they'll lose. Aston Villa, to me, could potentially be there and thereabouts, like top three, because again, they have the stability of Unai Emery. But if I'm being genuine with who I think would be a title contender next year, I think it'd be Chelsea. They have the squad, they have a manager coming in who's hungry, and they don't they don't play midweek. Like, I mean, when we're facing them, it's good because we're not gonna have a midweek game, but when it gets to the thick of things, like they don't have midweek games to contend with. Now, on one side, people are gonna say, well, if you have midweek games, like Pep always said, like at least you're in rhythm, right? You're constantly in rhythm and you're not just like in open training. On the flip side, like there's that low hanging fruit of injury risk when you're playing so much. Um, so yeah,
Wow.
for
That's
me,
bold.
yeah.
That's a big hot take there.
which I
Laurent, you
feel,
think you guys, yeah, go on.
I just say in terms of the injury risk, which I feel is has increased this year given the World Cup, right? Because it's
Hmm.
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know how many games that was, but that was a long season for sure.
Yeah. And I do agree with you, CJ. Like I don't think there's any excuse whatsoever for us to not win. Zero. Whether we get a left winger in or not, there's zero excuse. All these players have played together for multiple years. There's a spine, there's a core, there's the same, um, you know, um, game plan. Obviously, certain things are going to change, but there is zero excuse for us to go in and win it again.
The two I'm really curious about is Liverpool and Man United. I don't know what you guys think about those two clubs, but I'm very curious to know how they're gonna be next year, to be honest with you. Like,
Have they well specifically Man U, have they signed anyone or made some big moves this transfer window?
Here at Tielemans.
yeah, not so far. Yuri Tielemans, a lot of their fans are crashing out about their window so far, and same with Liverpool fans too, actually.
Oh,
Um, but Yuri Tielemans, they took Santos off of you guys.
I mean Liverpool, I think is justified to a certain degree because I think a lot of their moves came last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure those a lot of those guys are still there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
That's what
but
I'm saying. They're a very interesting one for me because again, how did those guys that were signed last season, how did they now settle in second season in the league? Still big players on name by name, right? Ekitike, Isak, Verts.
mm,
Will they all gel now? You know?
mm.
Yeah, I don't. Liverpool. I don't know. I'm not worried. I'm really not worried about Liverpool. I think Man United maybe has a little bit more of like an aura just because of Old Trafford and things like that. That maybe like they could push, but I don't see them pushing Chelsea. Like they haven't played every 3 days in a while, right? Like it's still going to be new for Carrick as well. So
I think that's the thing we have to consider when we talk about these clubs too, is like taking the managerial turnover. Like it's funny we're saying this. Arteta is probably the most experienced guy out of the top six clubs. that we just mentioned, right? Like you have Areola at Liverpool, inexperienced at that level. Maresca, yeah, I mean, he's a mixed bag. He was a mixed bag at Chelsea, won a couple trophies, but again, obviously, it didn't go great over there. De Zerbi's a proven manager, but he's at Spurs. Again, what level is that really at? Carrick, he's probably the most inexperienced of the lot. You know what I mean? Um, and then Xabi Alonso, we know, was a good manager, so maybe that's why it's fair to say that Xabi Alonso and Chelsea could do something next year, but they're a big unknown. You think that's a wild take, Laurent, that Chelsea could be title contenders next year? Like, I don't even know if you would yourself would say that. I mean, I know you said some crazy stuff last year. We're not going to revisit that, but yeah, is that something you would subscribe to as well, like
Woo!
title contenders?
I think it's too early. It's yeah, in my opinion, it's definitely too early for that. Like I said, um, there are still a lot of unknowns, right? In Chelsea's case, uh, I did mention with player signings, right? That in terms of their performance, right? You have to repeat after you make the move, and it's the same thing with managers, right? Yes, Xabi Alonso did what he did at those clubs, and even with Real Madrid, I don't think he had too bad of a performance, if we're being pretty
No,
honest.
Their standards are just different.
I mean, there's that, and yeah, I guess yeah. There's a lot of that as well, but I think for him, if we're being real, it was the player management which caused him to depart so soon. But beyond that, I think he still has a lot of work to do, and it's not going to be easy. Um, on the back of it, a lot of the players that we do have, I think there's a certain how can I say it? There's a loss of morale for a lot of these players, if we're being honest, right? I mean, Enzo, Palmer, right? Those guys that and even like Kukurea, had he still been there, right? You could have put him in. Um, but a lot of guys were sold on a project. You see what I'm saying, right? They were giving hope as to where the club should head, and those promises did not bear fruit, right? So as a manager, right, you have to find a way to gear your players up to right to make that push, um, and to play with full commitment, right? And it's not going to be easy, if we're being honest, right? So before I even right look to say that Chelsea is going to contend, right? That I do have to see certain things first. Um, in terms of how we played, I mean, again, it's still preseason, but I did like the work rate off the ball, which is something that I did mention that I thought was pretty sloppy last season. But the work rate off the ball to try to win possession back, right? To me, is something of elite teams. Where you look at, there's a stat actually for ball retention. Um, After, like, let's say you lose possession, right? How long it takes to get possession back. And if you look at top teams, right, usually those numbers are pretty low. They're very good at getting the ball back
Mm.
once it is lost. Um, so that to me is something that I do look that I would be paying close attention to, right? Overall, right, is that work rate, right? Double teaming a man, right, on the side of the pitch when it's required, right? And I'm sure you guys have seen this, right? Even like the likes of PSG, um, they will double team you, right? If if and they know how to do it, right? You have to do it in a way where you don't leave yourself exposed, obviously, because it's two players for one man,
Yeah.
right? Um, but that's the kind of football, right? That I want to see Chelsea play, right? And then from there, you get the possession back, and then you're looking to move the ball. But that aside, right? It's still a lot of work to do, and it's still early. And I mean, listen, maybe I changed my tune after we slap you guys up within that first couple of games. Yeah, at that point, I jumped ship, and I agree with Murad on that one. But till then, fingers crossed.
Uh, then that, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, from Murdad was the nicest thing you're gonna hear Murdad say about Chelsea all season long, is the fact that he thinks Chelsea will be title contenders. After this, it's just from downhill from here on out in terms of the compliments. That was a
Listen,
wild take from you. I never expect you to say that.
listen. In my defense, last year I had the best predictions for our preseason predictions. Um, I'm just saying my track record speaks for itself for the preseason predictions.
Oh, look at Jose Mourinho over there.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Uh, yeah, well, I think that's a good point to leave it off, unless you boys have anything else you wanted to add.
All I gotta add is keep it tuned here, boys, at
Yeah,
the
actually,
home.
hold on. Before we close off, sorry to cut you off. We didn't even cover your preseason game.
I was actually thinking about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
Honestly,
mean, we really want to talk about preseason. Like, we're
I
like playing like
what
chums. Like, whatever. Who cares?
really? Okay, listen, I know I don't I okay, I will say this. I will say this. Our preseason games, okay, or teams like Chelsea where you have a new manager, right? You don't have the structure yet. You can be experimental. You see what I'm saying? Where you're looking to try things out to see what doesn't work, right? But with a team that's repeating, right, where I assume your foundations are already there, is there more cause for concern in your case
no.
as you wouldn't say so?
Well, like, are you talking about with as a result of the game the other day where we lost to Betis?
Well, I mean, okay, for one, was the performance up to par? Result aside.
No, it wasn't. But you have to look at also, like, just look at the team that started that game,
Mm,
right? I think that'll tell you everything you need to know. You'll never see anywhere near that starting 11 that looks like that in the Premier League or the Champions
No.
League.
mm.
You know, we
Maybe
have about
maybe a FA Cup like
yeah,
against like a tier three team, Division three team, but
we have about 11 players missing at this moment in time from the World Cup still. 11 first team players. So I think it's about minutes in the legs. And but what you're correct about, what you need to really assess and take into consideration is players who are fighting for their future, and those guys underperforming is yeah, is cause for concern, right? You know, guys like Kepa in goal, right?
oh my God, don't even bring up that name. He
Yeah,
needs to leave. He needs to
Really?
leave.
Bro, I swear
He
you
needs to
guys were
leave.
praising him last season.
He needs to leave.
Especially you, Merdad. Hold on,
I
hold
was
on.
gonna say you need to stop including me in these things, man.
Yeah. Explain that one.
He needs to leave. He needs to
Bro,
leave. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
it's just one bad game, bro.
No, no, it's a compilation from last season. He needs to leave.
All right. Well,
I think I'd also be concerned for the futures of Ethan Nwaneri, for example.
Hmm.
He hasn't covered himself in glory in these two games. Apparently, last game I didn't get to watch it in full, but the Betis game where we lost, a lot of times when Nwaneri gave away possession, then Arteta was on the sidelines, apparently throwing up his arms and turning to the bench and complaining to his coaches. Like I think Nwaneri, this is a time where he should be really fighting to save his future essentially at Arsenal Football Club, but I don't think it's not looking good for him, I have to say.
No, and I hope Andrea Berta is smart and doesn't sell him, but ships him off on a season-long loan.
Yeah.
He's got too much potential at 19.
wait, you guys watched the game, the last one?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it.
Was the tactical display, all of that formation, was it similar to last year? S Style of play.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, we set up the same pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Still Haram? Sorry, I gotta ask, bro, for those in the back, you know?
Listen, man, all I'll say is keep it tuned here at the home of your Premier League champions.
Say
I'll
less.
leave it at that.
Say less.
I will leave it at that.
Uh, we did score from a set piece, if that's what you're asking.
I actually seen that and I laughed my ass off because like of course these guys would. And by the way, for those who didn't catch it, they have a new set piece routine. That was a new one. I don't know if you guys caught it, right? That was 100%. I did not see that last season, bro. These guys came in from the dugout, like from behind the keeper. It's like, and then they march in unison, like, bro. That I swear to you, bro.
Yeah. Haram reaching new levels, bro.
now
Hey,
for
man,
bro.
that's funny. And the new boy has clearly acclimatized quickly. It was him who whipped in the corner, so he's with the set piece routines. Man got an assist from a corner.
Wait, who Solis?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wait, he whipped it with a right foot? Because I swear
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a. Oh, okay,
He's
okay.
he's like a Cazola.
Oh, he's 2-footed.
Ambidextrous. Yeah.
Hmm, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people watching, listening, don't be too worried about preseason right now. Don't get carried away when
No.
we win. Don't get carried away when we lose. It's about
Oh
minute to
no,
go.
no. If we win, get carried away, bro. Get carried fucking away. When we lose though, just just trust the process.
The same when we slapped Girona 4-1, you were doing an open top bus parade.
Oh my god. Bro, I was buying my ticket to go to UK again. Oh shit. But anyways, listen. As always, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the bell. Most importantly, hit the bell. I know the off season we've been slacking a little bit, but season's coming around. You guys are gonna turn around and be like, "Oh my God, why is there so many videos? Why is there so much content to catch up on?" Yeah, it's gonna keep up on you quick, man. We got our preseason predictions coming up soon. We got the prediction series. We got the new FPL that we're gonna put in our description for you guys to play along with us and potentially get a free jersey. Laurent, sorry, airball. Some folks that are in need of a jersey will definitely support you in getting one. Even if your favorite player has moved on to a different team, we'll still get a jersey with your favorite player's name on the back. Um, yeah, the content's coming. The content is coming.
Is the Champions League coming?
Yes,
Mm, all right, all right. Well, it's. I'm gonna keep asking that question, by the way.
and my answer is gonna be yes.
Mm. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do?
Hmm.
So, like I said, I'm gonna keep asking this question, and then by the end of the season, I'm gonna make a time lapse video of me asking this question and you answering. And then as it progresses, it starts off, yes, confident, confident. Then once it gets to the end of that video, it's like, yes, no, no. Until
What
it,
I can promise you is the energy is gonna be the same. An emphatic motherfucking yes.
all right, all right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Like I said, if you guys win it, you know, I gotta congratulate. Do I want you guys to win it? No. But if you guys do win it, then yeah, man, you guys deserve it. You guys deserve it. So
Good thing Chelsea won't be there to stop us, eh?
uh, yeah, shit.
Not for this year, at least. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But yeah, boys, been a slice, been a pleasure.
Sir.
And for those watching and listening, thanks for locking in, and we'll see you on the next one. Adios.